Okay, you see how you haven't actually made a claim and you haven't actually supported with evidence. You cannot tell me
What?
that within
No, no, you're not going to
2 days.
say that. I did
Let me,
support it with evidence.
wait,
I was very
wait, can I
direct
finish?
with it. I
Can I finish?
gave you direct sources from your
Don't
side
be lecturing
and
me.
I
Let me
provided
finish.
sources from the psychology. Do not
Can
say
I
I didn't
finish?
provide evidence. I did.
Okay, but you provided evidence for something else that we were just talking about. I'm talking about
No,
this
I'm talking
specific
about the negative effects of applying your.
First Amender tries and fails again to argue against Christian ethics. He's debating a random person on if Christian ethics are good or not. And First Amender, as always, stems from his fifis and not with anything factual, because he is a believer in the leftist Bible. And he just thinks our Christian Bible is hateful. But let's see how First Amender does, shall we?
of Christian ethics in the
Yeah,
society,
I'm literally
specifically,
showing you the
you
non-benefit.
are
I'm saying that
arguing
is
to
the
me. Wait,
negative. This is not a benefit at
I'm just
all.
steel man
This
your
is a negative
argument, but
thing.
you're steel man. No, that's not. No,
I
because you have to
literally
actually
cited
prove.
a direct
Wait,
source
no, no.
straight from the American Christian
You
Orthodox Church. So now what?
it doesn't. Wait, Amender. You need to actually prove the negative effects of it.
The
What
negative
you're
effects
saying,
of
what you're
celibacy?
actually arguing. Wait, let me
Oh,
finish.
bro, I
Let me
got you.
actually
Don't worry about that.
finish. What I was trying to say was that you have to actually what you're arguing, right, is how it is morally bad to follow this specific ethic. When that question has to do with whether or not the ethic actually supports society and it's a benefit to society. Okay? That is what you're focusing on. So if you want
Yep.
to
Give me a
argue the
moment.
question and the position
Give
that
me a
it's not
moment. I'm going to
beneficial,
find it for you.
you have to
I
show me.
got you. I got you, homie.
Sure.
Don't worry.
So while he's looking that up, I just want to let you
Hold on.
guys know that he's looking up how celibacy is harmful for people, I guess. I guess in this case, homosexuals. Keep that in mind.
Mhm. Then there was something that Anthony brought up that I wanted to say in terms of slavery.
But what do you think about the fact that the Romanian Orthodox Church actually owned slaves, and they were the last to actually own slaves in
Yeah,
Romania?
so like I said, the Orthodox Church, for most of its recent history, has actually owned serfs and slaves, depending on what Orthodox Church we're talking about. Russia and Romania included, also the Greeks. But the Greeks didn't own them for too long, right? And they're one of the biggest effects in terms of orthodoxy in the United States, right? Like I said, a lot of the things that we're talking about in terms of slavery, it's not that religion justifies it, right? And doesn't mean that slavery is a good thing, right? Just because the Bible doesn't say yes or no to the question. But I also do make the case from a theological standpoint that the Bible does say that slavery is bad, right? And Anthony
Okay,
actually brought
that's an
that up.
amazing answer. But can you actually answer the question that I asked you, and not some
Sure,
other
answer one more
question?
time. Maybe I didn't get it. Go ahead.
Okay,
Answer the second
so
question.
I asked you, what do you think about the fact that the Romanian Orthodox Church actually owned slaves?
Yeah, it's a
Look how long the First Amender has to look this up.
I'm going to also tell
There's a
you
whole
that
little
the
mini
Romanian
debate
Orthodox
going on
Church
while he's
was
looking up this
using
answer. Come on, First
their
Amender.
theology to actually support the owning of slaves. And when the state, right, started the emancipation of slaves, they were resisting and resisted for a very long time to the emancipation of their slaves.
Can I ask you a question?
So, yeah.
If a church uses theology to support a negative thing like slavery, does that then mean that theological argument is correct, or should we consider it valid?
It's like who is the authority, whether or not the theological argument is correct or not.
Well, in the sense of the Orthodox
Is their
Church,
theological argument is like,
okay, so their
right?
theological argument is not the argument of the entire church. So in order for something to be considered
No,
as a
it was
theological,
for the
no, no,
Romanian
no.
Orthodox Church.
Okay, can I explain to you something? In order for something to be considered as a doctrine of the church of Christ, it must be done, right, through the meeting of all bishops, right? It's called the ecumenical council, right? This is how decisions like these things come together. If a single church in the middle of but no nowhere, which clearly is not the case because a lot of Romanian churches had it. But my point I'm saying is, if one, two,
I'm not,
three,
when I'm
10
saying the
churches
church, I'm not
out of a large,
referencing like a specific church. It's the
you're
Romanian
referencing
Orthodox
the
Church,
national
right?
church.
The organization.
A
Yes,
Romanian, yes. But what
not a
does that
specific
organization
one.
fall under? It falls under the Eastern Orthodox Church. So it is a part
Yes,
of.
but they also can. Okay, so it's like it's a monocephalic church, right? They can do whatever the fuck they want, right? It's like they can have their own theology, right? At the end of the day, they are
them
independent,
separating from the.
right? So when they're reading the Bible,
You're not
I
separate.
mean,
from the
Dylan,
Church
it's
of
like
Christ.
if you're not gonna let me even like respond and actually have like an argument,
Because
it's like it's pointless.
you actually haven't.
No, but it's like you keep talking and talking and talking, and I can't get a word in. No, it's like you didn't. That's the thing.
Okay,
It's like you
but
didn't. Maybe
you're not
you don't realize
understanding.
it,
Ah, here we
but you
go.
didn't.
But you're trying to.
And you
Okay,
keep
but you're
saying I
trying to
don't
argue
realize.
this.
You keep
but you're
saying I
not.
don't realize, I don't understand, but I do. And it's
Because
like
you
you're not
don't
gonna
understand the
understand what I'm saying if
independency
you don't
of
let
that
me.
church.
Okay, cool.
You're saying
I'll
that
just
church is
go
still.
speak with Amanda.
Okay,
I'm
so
not gonna bother anymore.
all right, I have it right here.
But you
Right, you said you wanted me to exhibit any potential harm, right? So again, I'll go ahead and link this in chat for everybody to see. I am not getting this from some BS source. This is journals.library.columbia.edu. It is a legitimate source right here. Undoing the damage, working with LGBT clients, post-conversion therapy. As a mecca of diversity, New York City has become one of the epicenters for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender and LGBT community.
Well, with that first line right there, I can already tell this is a BS source. I'm not saying they're lying or anything, but I think there is definitely a bias here, a left-wing, leftoid bias. When you start off anything with as a mecca of diversity, I mean, right there alone, that's already red flag goes up. Yeah, this is probably horse crap.
As such, LGBT identified clients present in New York's counseling and mental health agencies with a cross-section of issues unique to the LGBT community. One of these issues is the deleterious effects of LGBT individuals face an experience with conversion therapy. Conversion therapy aims to alter a person's sexual orientation away from homosexuality into heterosexuality or celibacy. Clients seeking counseling after an experience with conversion therapy present distinct practice challenges that require special consideration in treatment. These clients may experience both sexual and spiritual identity crisis, symptoms of depression and anxiety, hopelessness, sexual dysfunction, and symptoms of post-traumatic stress. Integrative solution therapies, grief work, community-based interventions, and trauma work offer healing strategies for treating LGBT clients after conversion therapy. So, is this bullshit?
So it's not bullshit, but you see how it's specifically talking about the effects of conversion therapy? But
Nope, it's talking about celibacy as in into heterosexuality or celibacy. This is all part of conversion therapy. Celibacy is a performance of conversion therapy.
Okay, so keep in mind, he was looking into the harms of celibacy in people and individuals, and now he's talking about conversion therapy. Just because the point of conversion therapy is maybe celibacy or heterosexuality doesn't mean you need to go through conversion therapy in order to be celibate. A homosexual can be celibate without having to go through conversion therapy. So he's totally strawmanning his own argument. He brings up how is celibacy harmful, and then he brings up conversion therapy. Like one does not necessarily have to do with the other.
Right. The current Orthodox, you said initially, right, that you would like to see harm. There's harm. There you go. I showed you harm.
Okay, so
now what?
It says conversion therapy aims to alter a person's sexual orientation away from homosexuality into heterosexuality or celibacy, right? That
yes.
Doesn't necessarily. Okay. Again, so first of all, even if you did establish the harm here, now you have to establish that it is societally more harmful than what the benefits of the Christian ethical system can make. Right? Which I don't think is actually proven by the source that you put, even though that in terms of the celibacy that we're talking about, right? We're talking about celibacy between individuals that for most of their life are children, right? Because most people will get married at a very young age under the Christian thing, right? A lot of Christians actually marry pretty early, right? Compared to Protestants and to other things. They actually marry later. And atheists as well marry later in terms of statistics. I don't have it on hand, so don't consider it as fact. I'm just saying that is what I saw. I might be wrong, and I'm not saying it as a fact, right? But one thing that I wanted to say about Daniel is I apologize if you were frustrated by me interrupting you. By the way, I would like to have that conversation with you. I don't want to seem so cold about it, but I was trying to explain that a local parish or a
I don't
diocese
have
doesn't
any
actually have
studies regarding like the impacts of like celibacy versus just being openly LGBT, but like I fail to see like when you're talking about if somebody has the choice, right, and that they're not being openly antagonized into not being LGBT, right, they themselves can come to a conclusion as to what is best for their life.
Okay, to bring up so first of all, he just wasted our time because he says, well, I don't have the statistics to show me that the LGBTQ remaining celibate is harmful for them. So then why bring up the conversion therapy? Why bring that up at all? Like, you just wasted our time. Second of all, it's more of just, well, I feel my feelings, my preferences. Second of all, let's say, to bring up the Andrew Wilson example, his go-to, what if my preference, what if the only way that I could satisfy my primal urges, my carnal desires, is if I do the horizontal mambo with an unalive person? A grown, an adult, alive female doesn't do it for me. An adult, alive male doesn't do it for me. The only way that I could satisfy my urges, the only way, is if I do this horizontal mambo with unalive people. That's it. That's the only way I could do it. Would I be knowing what's best for myself? Would I be able to do that? And I know they're going to bring up, well, but it's illegal to do that. Well, let's say it was legal. Let's say society was like, yeah, you know what? These people know what's best for them. All these people that like to do the horizontal mambo with unalive people, they know what's best for them. Let's stop oppressing them. Let's just let them go at it, you know? Okay, but what if society is still like, no, that's gross and disgusting and immoral? And so I'm feeling the societal pressures that, oh my gosh, what if I'm feeling the societal pressures that it's not good to do that? And then it takes a toll on my mental health. I'm stressed out. I have to stay celibate because that's the only way that I can satisfy my urges is if I do it with unalive people. You know, like I said, I can't satisfy myself with alive men or alive women. It's only with unalive people. I guess I'm going to have to be forced into celibacy, right? But don't I know what's best for myself? Don't I know what's the best decisions to make for myself and what makes me happy?
right?
Okay, so maybe
exactly
not argue celibacy as like a method.
But why though? Why is arguing celibacy wrong? He hasn't he's just saying I feel like it's wrong. He hasn't demonstrated why it is actually harmful to stay celibate.
Arguing celibacy, we're talking about celibacy within our ethical system. So if you
I'm showing that the ethical system results in negative outcomes. Right?
It doesn't.
Okay, forcing somebody into celibacy absolutely could.
We're not forcing people. We're not forcing people to do conversion therapy or celibacy.
What if they're if they're an Orthodox Catholic, they absolutely get coerced into doing that, right? Because the current Orthodox stance is to encourage celibacy for those who have those urges.
Encourage. See,
yeah, that's ridiculous. You think there's no pressure in that?
Not if you're first of all, not if you're a rationally thinking being.
We just have to agree to disagree. I don't know what to tell you, man. I think societal pressure absolutely factors in a huge role, and what somebody ultimately needs in situations like that is support from their local community, and based on the ethical standards of the Christian Orthodox Church in the United States, it does not result in better outcomes. It results in worse outcomes because of likely the societal pressures that are incurred from it. Right? That's not a hot take in me bringing that up.
Well, it is a hot take because you haven't demonstrated how society has been better now that we've lessened the societal pressures of homosexuals to just be free. I mean, they're allowed to get married now. It's more widely accepted. Is society better now than 50 years ago? Is society even better now than 25 years ago? By what metric are you measuring this other than, well, gay people's fifis are no longer being hurt? And my fifis aren't being hurt.
Okay, but it kind of is in the sense that this
Not
is
at
a
all.
system that doesn't force you. So we're not forcing you to be part of this ethical system. We're just saying that this is what is part of the ethical system. So if I post rules outside my house and I say, anyone can come into my house, but these are the rules of my house. And one of those rules is celibacy, right? If you then decide to come into my house and not be celibate, Okay, I might even accept you, and the Orthodox Church does that. We don't truly. If you
Okay,
just
but
don't
you're
tell us,
talking about
right?
like what is the problem with the ethics of the Orthodox Church, and
There
there's a
is no
problem with the ethics of the Orthodox
no.
Church.
That's the problem. That's the problem. You're arguing that it is morally wrong. I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing that it's society. It's beneficial for society, right?
Okay, what is
Within a
harm?
secular
What
society.
what do you think is harm? What's harm?
Wait, can you answer that though?
No,
Like you
no.
know that you're not arguing the same point that I'm arguing. That is why you're getting frustrated with me because I understand your point and why it's morally wrong within your moral system. And I think to some extent it can be considered wrong by other people, and that's why I don't think that we should my church nor my religion should force things on other people. If you don't
Okay, so
want to be
well, they're
celibate, you don't
arguing
want
in
to be,
favor of
you don't.
celibacy for people who are gay. They actively encourage it. It's right there on their website. We know it causes harm. Why can't we just acknowledge, hey,
So
this
fun
moral
fact,
system isn't as
fun fact,
good
it's
as
not
like a
taught.
secular humanist perspective? Like a secular humanist is going to look at a person who's LGBT and say, there's nothing wrong with you. You can live
We
your
don't say
life
that
as
there's
you
wrong
see
with it.
fit, right? Here's a condom.
Correct.
It tends to be a little riskier being LGBT.
It tends to be a little riskier being LGBT. Why is it riskier though? Why is it riskier being LGBT? Like if you're a gay male and you want to fornicate with another gay male, well, why is that riskier? It's almost as if he just kind of admitted right there that even if you just want to look at it from a health perspective, it is not better.
That is far
Do you
better
understand? Do you
than
understand?
the potential than the potential problems that are incurred by not embracing someone's identity.
The problem is though, and I think we're gonna have to agree to disagree because I think what you're doing is, first of all, you kind of introduce two different arguments into one, right? Because I'm talking about the societal benefit, and it seems like you're trying to base your argument of why it's not beneficial for society based off your moral arguments why
No, I'm
transgender
saying
or like
you're
homosexuality
providing a
is a good
social
thing. You're not doing
pressure
that. So,
that
but
doesn't
it's
need to be
no,
there,
you're
and so
basing
some
social
people
pressure.
that will cause harm to
Sir,
them because they
when you
don't
go to the
want to do that.
it was not taught like the divine liturgy. Yeah, but and when you go to the Orthodox Church and you go to divine liturgy, you're not actually taught to be.
Can you
Like
at
they
least
don't start
agree
going
that
on talking about
can you at least agree that
homosexuals. You're
celibacy can
bad.
cause depression? Do you believe that celibacy causes depression? Yes or no?
So I would say yes, but there's definitely more factors in play, right? If you want to make the case that it's just celibacy causes depression, I'm going to argue no, because I've actually not seen any
Well,
social
there's
studies
lots
on
of
that
things.
actually.
There's lots of things that causes depression. That's beside the point. I'm simply pointing out
Because
that
within a
hey,
church,
if you force people, or if you say hey, you
of
have to do
sexual,
celibacy because that's what God intends, right? Because your
yeah, and
style of
we've
love
seen
is
the
sinful.
benefits of that.
Yeah, that absolutely is
We've
going to
seen-
cause a great deal of depression. Like what?
Yeah, but we've seen actual benefits within Christian communities
But that's a
with this
negative
specific.
thing. That's not good,
No, no,
and
no,
you're
no, no. It's
defending
not
it.
a negative thing. You know why? Because
It is a
the
negative thing.
backbone,
You're forcing people and sending them
not
into depressive
past
fits
where
because
It's always weird to me when these atheists or whatever always talk about forcing people. You're forcing me to live a certain way. And it's like, they always bring that up. Well, I don't think you should force me to live a certain way. Like whenever there's a Christian online that says, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this or maybe you should do that, they go like, well, why are you trying to force this upon us? And it's like, they're seeing it in the wrong way. You got to see it as more like, listen, if a fitness expert was saying, hey, you'll be more physically healthier if you go for walks every day and if you don't eat fast food all the time. If you cut down on your fast food and if you do this, you're going to be more healthier and happier. And then people are like, why are you trying to force me to take walks every day? Why are you forcing me to not eat fast food all the time? And you would, if someone argued that, you'd be like, what? What are you talking about forcing you? We're just saying maybe it's not good if you live your life like that. Maybe you'll be happier and healthier if you live your life this way. You don't have to live your life this way. You can eat fast food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks in between if you want. You're free to do that, but maybe it's not good for you to do that. And maybe you'll be happier if you eat healthier. And that's what we're trying to say when it comes to, and you could see it on society. Like, society has only gotten worse since Christians have kind of lessened their grip on society. You know, when secular humanists started taking over and the culture and stuff, and Christianity has declined, society has objectively gotten worse. It hasn't gotten better. So maybe what we're prescribing here, maybe our oughts, are better than your oughts. But what do you guys think about this so far? Sound off in the comment section below. Smash that like button if you're enjoying this so far. Let's continue.
Be who they want to be.
You don't actually have
right? And it's not a red shirt that you could just take off.
Okay, you see how you haven't actually made a claim and you haven't actually supported it with evidence. You
What? No, you're not going to say that. I did support it with evidence. I was very direct with it. I gave you direct sources from your side, and I provided sources from the psychology. Do not say I didn't provide evidence. I did.
But you provided evidence for something else that we were just talking about.
I'm talking about the negative effects of applying ethics from a Christian worldview, specifically from the Eastern Orthodox perspective. And yes, I did provide sources.
Amanda, you're not allowing me just to finish. Just give me like 30 seconds, okay?
Go ahead.
Then you could completely just agree to disagree. Okay. What I am saying is you haven't provided evidence on the specific claim that I have made that within the Christian ethic system, right, or people that are Christian, that celibacy has been negative, right? You have established that celibacy in terms of a societal thing can be bad, right? And I have seen science and research that suggests that, right? A lot of it actually, right? And that actually being open about your sexuality is actually extremely benefit for your social sense in society. But in terms of a Christian sense, we actually see good evidence that people that practice celibacy and are Christian, right, are happy. They're happy that they're not depressed just because they're celibate.
Yeah, some are. I won't even tell you that there are some that may actually be just fine being celibate. That is not the case for all people. Right. So when you send people to be celibate, right, people can come to the choice to be celibate if they want to be. There's nothing wrong with that. But however, like to sit there and say that like that the societal pressures don't exist as a result of the Eastern Orthodox Church, that's wrong. And there's certain people where that would not work and actually result in quite deleterious effects.
We all have to face societal pressures, like all of us do, for different things. For instance, if I was a nudist, right? Let's say I hated wearing clothes. I believe clothes were, I don't know what nudists believe. I don't know if they just don't like wearing clothes. I don't know what their belief system is. I wonder if there's any debates on against nudists anywhere. Anyway, back to the thing about if I were a nudist and I hated wearing clothes, I have a societal pressure that whenever I leave my house, whenever I go outside, I have to wear clothes. Well, wouldn't that be oppressive to me? Wouldn't that be harmful to my happiness? I want to be able to go to the store naked, but I can't because of societal pressures. But majority of people, I would say almost most people, would tell me, no, you need to wear clothes. You can't just walk around naked. And you would probably say, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I agree with that. We should tell that person to wear clothes. So what's the difference then? Homosexuals and nudists are both under societal pressures. They're both deciding what's best for them, but one is allowed and culturally accepted and one isn't. But isn't the nudist suffering from some kind of psychological oppression or unhappiness because they don't want to wear clothes and society is making them wear clothes? Whoever's debating 1stAmender, I don't think is doing a great job, but even he could call out when 1stAmender is just being all about his fifis. He's all about his fifis, and it's all because he's been brainwashed. He is going off. It's funny because they say we're brainwashed that because, we believe in the Bible and we believe in God and stuff, and that we resort to the book, the Bible. But he also cites things on the internet, probably from leftist websites or left-wing biased websites. He cites that. And he is just going purely off of leftist dogma. And then he calls us hateful, like he's called right-wingers or Christians hateful in other debates. But yet he openly says he hates right-wingers and Christians. We're just trying to say that maybe this isn't good and maybe the Christian ethics system is better, maybe the Christian ethics system is best. And that maybe we should all strive to live under the Christian ethics system. Because even if you don't want to believe that God exists, the ethics put forth by Christianity is still the best system so far. Tried implementing more secular rules into our society, and it hasn't improved society. It's only made things worse. And it's produced people like 1stAmender, who's always the first offended. But what did you guys think of this? Sound off in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoy content like this. And if you do enjoy content like this, I got much more debates for you. I got Andrew Wilson debates. I got Charlie Kirk debates. Many, many more debates that I think you'll enjoy.